14:23 local time. A solitary Ukrainian Su-27 Flanker screams through the river valley, skimming just 60 meters above the water. Its target, a Russian-controlled dam, the critical artery feeding supplies to the front lines. Destroying it would strangle the enemy advance. The flight had been quiet, but in modern air war, quiet is just the deep breath before the scream. Suddenly, the cockpit erupts in noise. The RWR blares the continuous high-pitched tone of a lock-on. Launch. The pilot has 18 seconds. A missile is already in the air, arcing down from 8,000 meters. He slams the stick right, pulling 7 Gs, burying the jet into the deepest shadow of the canyon. The math is terrifying. In 14 seconds, the missile goes active. In 16, it's overhead. He pushes negative Gs, forcing the nose down, practically shaving the river surface at 40 meters. Then the RWR lights up again. Second launch, third launch. A Russian Buk battery is emptying its tubes at the valley exit. They are firing a spread pattern, calculating exactly where the jet should be. But the Russians made a critical error. They are firing at a prediction, not a target. The 9M317 missile uses a 2-stage guidance system. For the first 80% of the flight, it flies blind on inertial navigation, relying on data updates from the ground radar every half second. But those updates depend on track quality. When a jet is pulling 7 Gs behind a granite ridge, track quality drops from 100% to 15%. The radar isn't tracking anymore, it's guessing. This is where the Su-27's raw power saves the pilot. With a thrust-to-weight ratio of 1.09, this jet defies physics. Unlike older fighters that bleed speed in a turn, the Flanker sustains energy. The pilot rolls inverted, executing a split S maneuver that drops him to 20 meters, then immediately reverses into a climbing barrel roll peaking at 300 meters. He is thrashing the air, forcing the missiles to constantly recalculate their geometry. Then the first missile seeker opens its electronic eye. 3 seconds to impact. The pilot snaps the jet 120 degrees right, diving into a side canyon. The missile seeker sweeps the empty space where the jet was a second ago. Finding nothing, its logic defaults to impact fuse. It detonates 400 meters behind the tail. The second and third missiles follow suit, confused by the terrain, exploding harmlessly against the cliffs. By the time the fourth missile arrives, the Su-27 is 6 kilometers away and accelerating. The Buk battery just wasted a full launcher on a ghost.
But the gauntlet isn't over. 3 kilometers south, a second Buk launcher wakes up. This one has a clean line of sight down the valley. Lock on. Track quality, 75%. This is a kill shot. However, the Su-27 has a secret weapon, the L-150 Pastel system. It doesn't just detect radar, it dissects it. The system analyzes the pulse repetition and signal strength, triangulating the battery's position to within 200 meters. The pilot knows exactly where the death is coming from. The problem is physics. The Su-27 is a heavy beast. With a wing loading of 545 kilograms per square meter, it cannot outturn a missile at low altitude. It needs 800 meters of airspace just to turn around. So the pilot stops turning. He decides to climb. He pulls the stick back and firewalls the throttles. The twin AL-31F engines roar, dumping 27,500 pounds of thrust each. The jet goes vertical, climbing at 45,000 feet per minute. He rockets from the deck to 1,500 meters in 15 seconds. This is a calculated gamble. The Buk missile is optimized for low-flying targets. When the target suddenly zoom climbs out of the envelope, the missile's control fins stall. It tries to pull lead, but the algorithm assumes normal flight, not a rocket launch. The missiles pass 200 meters below the jet, their proximity fuses sensing the target but realizing the geometry is impossible. He survives, but the climb has a cost. He is now visible to the entire world. 95 kilometers away, orbiting at 10,000 meters, an A-50U mainstay AWACS sees him. Its Schmel-M radar picks up the disturbance. It's not a solid track yet, just a ghost contact flickering every 20 seconds. But the operator sees the pattern. He correlates 12 blips moving east at 650 kilometers per hour. Probability of intruder, 78%. The A-50 sends a data link message to a nearby predator, a Russian Su-35 on combat patrol. Instantly, the Su-35's display lights up with a target box. The Russian pilot engages his afterburners. Without the AWACS, he would be searching a massive sky. With it, he knows exactly where to look. The Su-35 selects 2 R-77 missiles, target altitude 400 meters, speed 780 kilometers per hour, range 35 kilometers. It is the perfect setup for a beyond visual range kill. The R-77 is a different beast than the Buk. It has an active electronically scanned area AESA seeker in its nose. Once it goes active, it hunts on its own. The Ukrainian pilot sees the launch warning. He has 50 seconds. He pushes his engines to the breaking point, hitting 920 kilometers per hour at just 30 meters altitude. He is riding the razor's edge of the flight envelope. The R-77 dives at Mach 2.8. 20 seconds to impact. The Ukrainian pilot waits, and then executes a move that shouldn't be possible. He pulls a 9.5G turn while rolling inverted.
The missile seeker activates at that exact moment. Instead of a jet, it sees a wall of dirt. The Su-27 has vanished behind a ridgeline. The missile's logic computer panics. Option 1, reacquire. Option 2, predict. It chooses to pull up and clear the ridge. That decision costs it 3 seconds. When the missile crests the hill, the Su-27 is gone, already 800 meters away down a side valley. The missile detonates in empty air. The second R-77 suffers the same fate, exploding 600 meters off target. The pilot is exhausted, but the mission hasn't even started. Tucked under his wing is a JDAM-ER, a smart bomb with folding wings. He flips the master arm switch, safe to arm. The bomb wakes up. Its receiver hunts for GPS satellites through the aircraft skin. Within 8 seconds, it locks 6 satellites. Accuracy, 3 meters. It compares this to the target coordinates, the dam's spillway joint. Status, ready. But there's a catch. The JDAM needs altitude to glide. The pilot has to climb back up to 3,000 meters. And that is when the electronic war begins. As he climbs past 2,400 meters, the bomb's GPS signal collapses. Satellite 12 vanishes, then 7. The error margin explodes to 200 meters. A Russian JTEL jamming station is blasting the area with fake GPS signals, corrupting the timestamps. But the Ukrainians have an ace card, SAASM, Selective Availability Anti-Spoofing Modules. While the bomb's commercial receiver is blinded by the noise, the military-grade receiver in the jet fights back, locking onto encrypted military codes that the JTEL can't fake. The pilot is flying toward a null zone, a specific gap in the jamming coverage at 3,000 meters altitude. He hits the gap. Suddenly, the military GPS locks 8 satellites. Position accuracy, 3 meters. He sends the update to the bomb. Update accepted. Pickle. The bomb drops. The moment it clears the rail, the transformation happens. Spring-loaded actuators fire. In 0.3 seconds, wings snap open, turning the bomb from a dumb weight into a precision glider with a 6-foot wingspan. Almost immediately, the jamming returns. The GPS goes blind. Now the bomb is flying on math. Its internal gyroscopes and accelerometers measure every tiny movement. But without GPS, it drifts. Wind pushes it. The error grows. 10 meters, 30 meters, 64 meters. But the mission planners knew this. They didn't target a pinpoint. They targeted a 70-meter-wide structural weakness. The bomb enters its terminal dive, screaming down at 410 kilometers per hour at a 73-degree angle. The radar altimeter counts down. 100 meters, 50, 20, impact. The fuse detects the deceleration and triggers the 87 kilograms of high explosive. The blast creates 4.2 million psi of pressure. The concrete, designed to hold back water, shatters instantly. A crater 8 meters wide opens. Then nature takes over. 14,000 tons of water pressure find the crack. The spillway collapses. A torrent of 12,000 cubic meters of water per second roars through the breach. The supply line is severed. The front line is starved. The pilot turns for home. Mission accomplished. If you like deep dive in military, please don't forget like, comment, share, and subscribe for more informative videos. Thanks for watching.